said that with bookmakers now required to send monthly profit and loss statements to customers, what impact do you think this will have on the turnover in the industry? Will this change fly in the face of people like V'landys who believe that casual punters don't care about market percentages when they will now be able to see their losses increasing on their monthly statements? Look, we've spoken about it off air, John. We both think that this is going to impact turnover negatively. It may bring more pressure onto some of those more valuable clients, or the VIPs as the corporates refer to them, so that, you know, perhaps they'll be more accountable for their losses. Maybe they'll have more issues to deal with in their personal life, you know, self-excluding, all that sort of stuff. I can't see it. I see it as not a bad thing to do, but right. and I think that anything that helps the, you know, problem gambler stop gambling or reduce their gambling, or I think anything that does that is actually a good thing. So I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's going to be a good thing for the corporate in terms of their margins or their bottom lines. It's going to have some impact, and surely, you know, it's going to make it harder to find new mugs, as it were, who are going to lose at the adequate rate to make that whole model worthwhile.
Yeah, I think the problem is that the whole, maybe inadvertently, I don't know, the huge changes over, say, the last, we'll say 10 years for argument's sake, have brought about the average recreational punter losing from somewhere between 8 and 10% on turnover to between 15 and 20% on turnover now. And that's just the environment change. So that's with free bets and everything included. They're losing their money twice as fast as they were 10 years ago. And that's basically what they have to lose, the rate they have to lose at for a corporate to be sustainable. So how can that be a good thing, number one? Number two, if they're not aware of it, the monthly statements combined with this new compulsory deposit limit, because if you're just a run-of-the-mill punter and you think mentally you lose $100 a week, you're going to go, okay, well, I'll make my deposit limit 100 or 200. And then when you've knocked that off quickly, you start to sort of jerry that maybe you're losing a little bit more money. So the combination of the two things is definitely a huge positive for problem gambling. My issue is that the whole industry, you know, is conditioning everyone to lose quickly. And
well, it's poker machine. It's you know, the poker machines, the problem gambling, you know, with clubs and poker machines and pubs that have these licenses. I mean, I understand they're running a business and they welcome the profits that they make, and a lot of these pubs probably wouldn't be financially viable without them, which is a worry in itself. But you know, the POC tax and all, you know, when New South Wales goes, oh, we're going to increase, or Queensland goes, we're going to increase, or Canberra, I mean, those hundreds of millions of dollars extra in tax payable and revenues come from the punter. So that means that they're saying that we expect you to lose more next year. We expect you to lose. Yeah, you're going to lose 300 or 400 million more, or whatever the figure is, and
less turnover.
We're going to take it from you, and we're going to reduce the turnover effectively at the same time. So all of these things are just building up and continue to put pressure on the whole ecosystem, which is already, you know, there's a delicate balance there that's, I think,
it's not out of balance. It's bloody barrier reef levels of out of balance.
It's got to tip at some stage completely, and so, you know, the windfalls that are gained are very short term.
And if someone made the simple argument, it's, again, I don't have the statistics, but it's got to be very near now. So if a corporate has to win at 15% on turnover to win, very scary. But if you had the ability to compare that to the average takeout of a poker machine, for argument's sake, which has got to be very similar. I think they're set at about 85 or something like that. And you had the ability to compare turnover figures to rate of return of a recreational gambler compared to the turnover and rate of return of a poker machine, and you put them next to each other and you let that information out, if they were very similar, that would be very scary to the industry. And don't think it's far apart. Like, as I said, I'm speculative. I don't want to be held accountable, but I think it's getting into those sorts of areas. If you're losing at 20% on turnover, you're nearly better off playing a poker machine. That's pretty scary.
We'll put it this way. That then begs the question, why is it when you go and play a poker machine, are you not required to furnish your details? And why aren't they receiving statements monthly?
Exactly.
Shouldn't that be
because
next?
everyone, and that's the scary part. But I do think that whatever you want to call it, responsible gambling, responsible as RSA at the clubs, isn't it? With drinking, with gambling, I don't know what it's called, but those are the areas that need to be tightened up heavily. And once they are tightened up heavily to where they should be, which will create further turnover cuts, the people that are, between winning and losing 5% on turnover, that are currently being strangled out of the industry, they're going to be looking for those people to sort of return pretty quickly, you would hope.
Well, I mean, if they reduce the taxes or abolish them, turnover would go up significantly. If they reduced the takeout for the tote and encourage people to bet on the totes, then that would also, and made those rebates available to,
and try to maybe return some of the money from the corporates to the totes as well. Yeah.
Less focus on prize money, more money back into building the pools, building the actual wagering model, and the revenues that come from it. Then the losses incurred by these some of these punters would be obviously significantly less, right? Because
would slow down.
So they're going to lose their money at a slower rate, and get more entertainment. And if it is all about entertainment, and I'm addressing that now to the PRAs that think that punters don't care about what price they take. If it is about entertainment, well, you want them to lose at a lower rate, right? And make it more sustainable for everyone. I just think they've got it. The equation's imbalanced and doesn't make sense to me.
Well, if you're calling it entertainment and you go to see Green Day and it's $100 and you're getting charged $200, like that's what you say. That's exactly what it's going to be. It's so simple. You can make so many different. You get half the crowd. If you're charging 200 instead of 100, you're going to get half the crowd, and that's what it's going to be. Because once people work out what they're getting charged at the moment, they probably aren't aware of it, and preying upon that's pretty scary and dangerous. And you wouldn't think it's a great business model to prey upon people who are not aware and happy to sort of take more and more from them until they finally work it out. Or it's not a great model for me. When you're not sustainable, when you like you say, if it's entertainment especially, and you can drive more turnover, educate punters better, tell them that they're the difference between the prices, and understand why that those prices are different, and why you need to seek better prices to have better longevity. If they don't want to listen, fine. That happens in my, but educating and making it more sustainable should be their goal, not stripping as much as you can. And anyway.